Hello everyone, I am Calioth and welcome to another video. This time it is my first impressions of the brand new GTE car, the Chevrolet Corvette C8.R. Of course, in this season it will be used in IMSA, ILMS, IELMS, which is like basically very popular series, as well as the GT Endurance series. If you want to know more about this car, go check out my 2020 Season 4 build update news video shown by the icon on the top right hand side of the screen. Before the video begins, this channel is all about iRacing guides, tutorials, gameplays, special events, and sim racing gear review. Please leave a like, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, and share this video with your mates. But let's stop talking and get straight into it. So, first of all, let's talk about how the car feels when you drive it. First of all, it is understeer and oversteer. So when I'm driving this car, the car actually turns in like really nicely. It's basically a Ferrari GTE, if you ask me. So most of the corners are quite nice to turn in. Maybe a little bit understeery from time to time. A few corners may be understeery, but it can be fixed using like a setup change and stuff like that. Moreover, when we lift off the brakes a little bit, when you start to turn in a corner, car gives you a nice little bit of oversteer to give you a better turn in, which we all know is lift off oversteer. Next up, it is brake and throttle input. So now for throttle first, it's basically like any other GTE cars. You can really put down the throttle quite easily. It's basically a Ferrari, I'll just say. In addition, the car, you don't need to modulate the throttle that much. The car just sticks to road very easy, but brake-wise, it's a little bit more complicated. I would say brake-wise is a little bit harder. For a few corners, I feel like it's a bit iffy. The rear of the car wants to snap out. For example, Turn 1 and Turn 3 at Road Atlanta. Of course, that can be alleviated by brake bias, moving the car more forward, like the brake, the ratio, of course. So yeah, generally it's not too bad. Next, it is the suspension and how it reacts with the curbs. To be honest, it feels amazing when you go over the curbs. You can just put down the power so early, and generally doesn't have the issue that the LMP2 car has, because LMP2 car, the ride height is way lower. It's way lower to the ground than a GTE, so the LMP2 car can cause some problems. However, GTE generally doesn't have this problem, and it doesn't have this problem with the Corvette as well. And you could just attack the curbs really quite a lot, more than the LMP2 Dallara P217, which I've introduced 2 days before, I think. So, is it easy to drive? On a scale from 1 to 10, which 1 is the easiest and 10 is the hardest, I would give it around a 2, which is easier than the Dallara P217, I would say. As it is like really easy to drive, and it is a fun car to drive as well. The only thing is just the brake bias. Once you get, it's not even that bad, to be honest. You can just correct it with the steering when you feel that. And then like brake bias as well. I've talked about that one, and yeah, that should be able to alleviate the issue. So next up, we have the dashboard. So unlike the LMP2 car, there's only one display mode for the Chevrolet Corvette C8.R. So first of all, for the left hand side, as you can see on the screen, we got the tire pressure and then the tire temp below that. Below the tire temps, we got the brake bias. Of course, right now it should be 51 or 50, I think 51 or 51.5, forgot. And then next up, below the brake bias, it is the engine map, throttle shape, and traction control. So yeah, that's basically what you can change during the race. And yeah, On the right hand side of the tire pressure, you got the gear that you're using, and on the right hand side of that, it is the revs of the engine. So right hand side of revs is the speed of the car, then below that is the fuel target, which is actually a new feature that's I think it's only available for the Chevrolet Corvette, which is really good, and yeah, it's awesome. Which of course you can set in the car setup that I'm going to introduce later. And then below that, it is the current lap time and the delta. So yeah, you can see where you're gaining, where you're losing time, and stuff like that. So generally, I quite like the dashboard. It's more like a futuristic look, like compared to, for example, Ferrari, which is like really old. It doesn't give you any kind of like useful information like tire temp, tire pressure. It doesn't. It gives you like oil temp, so on. But yeah, it's not really useful, to be honest. But this one, really good. It looks awesome as well. So yeah, I give credit to this. Really good. So now let's go to the setups. So same as the other GTE cars, there are a lot of changes you can make in the setups. In the tires / aero tab, you can change the tire pressure and you can change the aero balance as well. Next up, it is the chassis tab. You can change a whole load of stuff such as the ARB, damping, camber, brake bias, and more. Then in the drivetrain tab, you can change the gear ratio as well as the diffs. This is certainly a bit easier than the LMP2. So if you're a rookie, or if you don't, although like if you have basic idea on how to make a setup, but you haven't really practiced it or just haven't done much, this Chevrolet, it's alright. It's gonna help you practice it, and it's not too hard to make like good setups. So yeah, it's decent of a car. So should you buy it? In my opinion, if you want to drive a GTE class in various series, then you should definitely buy it. It's the drivability, it's the same as the Ferrari, I would say. It's so easy to get the hang of it as well. But if you don't have great pedals, like some plastic pedals that I have like before November last year, I believe. Yeah, before November last year, then you don't want to touch GTE class or cars that generally doesn't have ABS, because it's so hard to find that limit. It'll just lock up easily. So that is my first impressions of the Chevrolet Corvette C8.R. I hope this can help you decide whether buying this car, or yeah, just generally help you decide basically. And I hope you enjoy. Furthermore, please join my Discord server down below so you can be updated if I have news or just any kind of update that's coming. Before I go, please leave a like, subscribe, hit the notifications bell, and share this video. But that's it from me, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for a new track guide series that I'm going to be doing, which is the MX-5 and at Tsukuba. So see you guys there. Goodbye.